Hey everyone, welcome. In this explainer, we're going to dive deep inside one of the biggest names in the palm oil industry, PT Wilmar Cahaya Indonesia, to really understand how they're tackling the huge challenge of sustainability.
That's a really big question, right? And it's pretty much at the heart of our story today. The ingredients in the food we eat start a journey long, long before they ever get to our kitchens. So let's follow that journey and see exactly where it leads.
Okay, first things first, let's get our bearings. Who are we talking about? Well, PT Wilmar Cahaya Indonesia TBK is a major player in Indonesia, and they're a key part of the global Wilmar International Group, which is an absolute giant in agricultural business. So what do they actually make? Well, think about the essential fats and oils that go into, well, pretty much everything. We're talking about the cooking oil in your cabinet, the shortening used in bakeries, and even those specialty fats like cocoa butter substitutes that give your favorite chocolate bar that perfect snap. I mean, this stuff is literally everywhere. And, this company isn't new to the game. They have a long history. It all started way back in 1968, just processing coconut oil. Then, in '96, they went public on the Indonesian Stock Exchange. And the big shift happened in 2013, when they officially became part of that global Wilmar group. So you can really see their journey from a local processor to a major global player. Now, for a company this big, operating in an industry as sensitive as palm oil, the word sustainability is, well, it's everything. It's not just some buzzword they throw around. It's a core principle that really shapes their entire business from the ground up. And at the heart of this commitment is a really powerful acronym, NDPE. It stands for No Deforestation, No Peat, and No Exploitation. And this isn't just some nice-sounding guideline. No, this is the rule book. It's the foundational policy that governs everything they do, from their own operations to who they buy from. It's the lens we need to view all their actions through. And this isn't just talk. Here's a statement straight from their board of directors. They've built their whole approach around 4 key pillars: protecting the planet, looking after people, delivering a great product, and totally transforming their supply chain. This statement really anchors their official strategy and sets the stage for the actions we're about to look at. All right, so a big policy is one thing, but how does that actually translate into action on the ground? Let's dig into the data, starting with what they're doing to protect the environment. Just check out this number. Over 320,000 gigajoules. That is the amount of energy they got from renewable biomass in just 1 year. So what is biomass anyway? Well, in their case, it's pretty clever. They're using things like leftover palm kernel shells as a fuel source, basically turning waste into energy. And here's how that number fits into the bigger picture. This chart really puts it into perspective, right? Just look at it. The bar for renewable energy absolutely dwarfs what they pull from the regular power grid. We're talking more than 3/4 of their total energy consumption. That is a massive commitment in practice. And the result of all this focus on renewables? A real measurable drop in their carbon footprint. This table shows a clear downward trend in their greenhouse gas emissions. I mean, a 20% drop in just 1 year? That's tangible proof that their climate strategy is actually working. But their environmental focus doesn't stop at just energy and emissions. Nope, they're also tackling waste and water. They're recycling water inside the refineries, turning organic waste into fertilizer, and get this, they even use fish ponds as a natural living indicator to make sure the water they release is clean. It's a really holistic approach. Okay, so protecting the planet is one huge piece of the puzzle. But remember that NDPE policy? What about the no exploitation part? Well, that brings us to the social side of things, their investment in people and in the communities around them. So if you look at their workforce, this chart shows the gender split in 2023. You can see it's mostly men, which, to be fair, is pretty common for this kind of industry. But the key thing here is the company's stated commitment to fostering diversity and inclusion, and that includes creating more opportunities for people with disabilities. Now this is a number you always want to see. 0. That is the number of work-related fatalities. Maintaining a 0 fatality record for years on end, that really shows a deep, serious commitment to the health and safety of every single person who works there. And it's not just about safety. They're also investing in people's growth. In 2022 alone, they provided over 4,600 hours of training for their employees. Think about that. It shows they're not just focused on keeping people safe, but on actually developing their skills and careers for the long run. And this investment goes way beyond their own factory walls. Their community programs are incredibly specific and tangible.
They're running health programs to reduce childhood stunting, they're helping local firefighters, and they're even assisting a weaving village to boost local tourism and preserve culture, on top of providing scholarships. These aren't just one-off donations. They're real, targeted initiatives to build up the community.
So we've seen the commitment to the planet and to people. But here's the billion-dollar question for any company, right? Does it actually pay off? Let's take a look at how all these principles translate to their bottom line. Looking at their net sales, what do we see? Steady growth. Even in a tough, competitive global market, their revenue is climbing. So what this tells us is that all this focus on sustainability and responsible business, it doesn't seem to be hurting them. You could even argue it's helping them grow.
Now, let's look at net profit. You can see the numbers bounce around a bit, and that reflects just how volatile global markets can be. But here's the thing. Despite those swings, the company stays consistently in the black. And that's the key word here, resilience. It shows their whole model, with sustainability built right into its DNA, is designed to weather these storms.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this? I think it's this. Wilmar Cahaya's story shows us that sustainability isn't just a cost or a line item on a budget. For them, it's a core strategy for creating long-term value and building a truly resilient business. Which really leaves us with one final big picture question. Looking at a case like this, it kind of feels like for these massive global industries, sustainability has moved past being a nice-to-have or a choice. It might just be an absolute requirement for long-term survival and success. What do you think?